Hi, this is C. Rose Now. Casey Reed and I have put together this short workshop to help you develop your first CV. Academics, doctors, lawyers, and other professionals have expanded resumes, and this type of resume is called a curriculum vitae, commonly referred to as a CV. If you're planning to transfer to a four-year school and thinking about applying for internships or jobs there in academic departments or labs, you'll likely need a CV. Also, if you're planning to go to graduate school, you'll need one, and we're even seeing some scholarship applications asking for CVs now. We're using a modified version of a workshop that Casey developed a few years ago. So basically, a CV is an extended resume, and it's going to give a lot more detail about your academic and professional experiences. You want to think a little bit about the best way to format these. So you're going to use headings, bulleted lists, really make good work of the design features so that it's easy for people reading the CV to access the information. You'll organize your headings by the type of program or position where you're applying, and I'll come back to that in a minute. You also want to be sure that you proofread very carefully and catch all the errors, because you only have a few seconds to make a first impression, and things like a typo on a CV would really stick in someone's mind. Now, one of the great things about a CV is it lets you go beyond education, experience, and skills that are typically included on a regular resume, and gives you an opportunity to showcase other things. So you could include presentations or speaking engagements. If you have any academic or creative publications, any kind of leadership or service, particular skills, honors or awards, or memberships, you can list those on your CV, and you'll have separate sections for each one. As you can imagine, if you start including all of this information, your CV can get pretty long, and they are often many, many pages long. That said, when you're first creating a CV, neither you nor your readers will expect to see pages and pages of information. However, because you're in honors and/or Phi Theta Kappa, you actually have a lot more opportunity for publication, leadership, and service, and taking advantage of those opportunities also provides you with more information to list in these sections of your CV. You'll also want to include your contact information, so that can include your email address, your mailing address, your phone number, and if you have social media profiles that you want to share. And I think in this section, if you have an e-portfolio or a professional website or blog, you could list that too. You'll want to use two fonts, one for the headings and one for the body of your text. You're trying to make the document visually accessible to people and drawing their eye to the certain categories. So using things like font attributes to highlight key information in a consistent fashion, the consistency is important, can make your CV very effective. If you have bulleted lists, be sure to start them with active verbs, and include numbers, dates, other specific information, and terminology from your field in what you write. So this is a place to start employing terminology or some of the jargon to show that you're already engaged in that field. It is important to know that different areas of study and different professions have slightly different formats for the CVs, because they're going to prioritize different information. The best way for you to design your CV is to look up faculty in your area of study or your profession at Portland State or Oregon State or U of O. Look at their profiles and look at what their CVs are like. See how they're formatted. Ideally, you'd be looking at current CVs, but even if they're a little dated, the categories and the order of categories should be the same. And then finally, we have some links here to a number of resources where you can read more about CVs, and the two-part workshop at UC Berkeley actually will show you visual versions of the different sections of the CV. Just keep in mind that the arrangement of those sections might vary depending on your area of study. Good luck, and you can always contact me or Casey if you have questions or you'd like us to look over your CV.